Back, ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, to Cartoon Conversations, where we once again decode and analyze the best and very best that Justice League Unlimited has to offer. Maybe eventually we'll get into some other kind of crazy shit, maybe like a Young Justice or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Especially if Young Justice Season 3 comes out.
This is how we pitch ideas to each other. Right? During the episode, during the intro, we kind of maybe bounce them around each other eventually.
Okay.
Whatever.
So.
Welcome to this first episode of here. Question Authority.
Yes.
Two-parter.
And speaking of questions.
Oh my god.
We have our big question.
That was a really great transition, Jordan.
What would you have done in Captain Adam's position?
I'm so proud to be a part of this duo right here. This is pretty great.
Wordplay is great.
So Captain Adam had a really big reveal at the end of this episode, which we're going to get to more, of course, because it's part of the episode. But it was such a split of personal opinion that most definitely you could get a 50-50 kind of analysis about this.
Yeah. I think there's a good case to be made for both sides.
Yeah.
Of what he did.
One is clearly wrong and one is clearly right, but, we'll talk about which one that is.
I've heard it both ways. The right way, then your way.
Oh, yeah.
So, continuing on, we open on Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane coming to a disaster, which I imagine is how Lois Lane starts most of her days.
Coming to a disaster? She wakes up
wake up, coffee, disaster, breakfast.
Oh my god. She wakes up to her single, her one bedroom, one bath apartment that's covered in cats. That's the disaster. How her life has gotten this hard.
I imagine she hasn't cooked a meal in years.
Oh my god, it's always deli food. Regardless of that, so who is our villain of the week, Jordan?
Well, I don't know yet who our villain of the week is, but our villain of the moment is the supervillain Mantis, who is causing terror in Metropolis.
And sounds like he's
Superman and Captain Adam fly synchronized fly, which must have taken them hours to practice. Like, can you control your speed? Is it like a dial you turn when you're flying?
They get it on right off the bat because they're so great. They're just the best friends, They're absolutely perfect and they love each other, Jordan.
They really are. They have A-quality banter.
Well, I mean, good guy Captain Adam right after what happens when he saves Lois. Good guy Captain Adam just I see what's going on here. Yeah. I'm going to leave you two. Yeah. I'm sure there's something I've got going on right now. Yeah. That was fantastic.
So yeah, they have just grade A banter here. Yeah. Very proud of them.
Proud of them.
And they fly straight at Captain Mantis. Not Mantis, sorry. At the supervillain Mantis. Using, apparently, the Captain Adam School of Planning.
Oh my god, you will never drop that.
Well, he has consistently awful plans. He is a captain of the U.S. military. Don't they teach you freaking strategy in military school?
Wasn't he of the Navy?
Actually, I think he was a Marine. I could be wrong.
Whichever.
No, you're right. He is Navy.
Yeah, they shouted over here. They said, oh, you're being re-enlisted, you crack bitch.
Yeah. So, continuing on.
Mm-hmm.
Besides Captain Adam failing the strategy class at Annapolis.
Failing the strategy class.
Yeah. So, they fly just straight at him.
Yeah.
And Superman explains he's from Apokolips, and there's a civil war going on there, so he's coming here for slim pickings.
Yes. Pretty much, Mantis, this weird... He looks a little like Fin Fang Foom, in all honesty.
It is a little...
Yeah, well, I mean, he looks like he's wearing Fin Fang Foom's, his skin.
Well, he's supposed to look like a praying mantis. I think it's a pretty decent costume.
I didn't notice that. He didn't really look like a praying mantis. He looked like one of those flying squirrels, except he was just entirely green in its scales and could shoot lightning from his hands.
Yeah, he has lightning powers and ice powers.
People. No, he had lightning powers that would freeze people.
Maybe when you could combine with Captain Adam's...
Is weird.
Yeah, Apokolips is weird.
There you go.
So, the Civil War there's still going on, which is... That's good for Earth.
That's pretty much what happens in Apokolips. They're never, ever going to agree on anything. Chocolate, vanilla...
Well, they all like Darkseid.
It's true. Or they all like not getting shot with gamma eye lasers. How about that? So they'll kneel before Darkseid because they don't want to get shot with lasers.
This is true.
Yeah.
So...
Not many people find that fun.
Mantis is losing. So, they fight, and Captain Adam... He gets caught in ice for some reason.
Yeah.
And
Superman
Mantis is kind of winning a little bit on Superman until Captain Adam just blasts him
Yes.
So he goes into the subway tunnel, and he and Superman grapple for a little bit. Superman grabs his boom tube, puts it on, and then him and Captain Atom show some really good teamwork, knock him in.
Yeah, that was like, it was very 1-2, but I also really enjoyed watching Superman just slip in, push the button really quickly, and it's like, boop, got it! You know, it was very,
It was great planning. It
was very Little Rascals.
It was a well thought out plan. It was a Batman Wake the Dead level plan.
I don't know, like, I think that, well, like, regardless of planning, I'm referring to the animation of it.
Oh, and Batman wasn't in Wake the Dead. I was just saying any plan Batman creates is good.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, look.
It was just that episode had a good plan.
Oh,
which was, I mean, it was basically use the person who's super effective against magic, but it was still a well thought out plan.
Right.
That worked well.
I just really enjoyed the fact that Superman immediately, he's coming to terms with Mandis, they're grappling, they're doing all that good shit. And then literally he like, leans in, boops the fucking boom tube, and then comes back out. He's like, what? I got it, He fucks with his machinery. It was just like this is what what's his name? This is what what's that little guy? Dennis the Menace. This is something that Dennis the Menace would do if he was in a fight. Dennis the Menace would like tie their shoes together. Or something.
I also like how they foreshadow because they show the boom tube on his hip before Superman does it. So if you know Apocalypse technology, you would know that.
And all boom tubes look the same apparently.
Yeah.
None can be none can look any different.
They're mass produced.
Yep.
So that's a thing.
They're mass produced.
And then Superman destroys that technology worth, I can only presume, billions of dollars. Like, how much would you pay for a teleporter?
I don't know. A teleporter that will send me off to fucking a fiery wasteland.
But I think
pay much money for that.
I think these boom tubes can take you anywhere, though. I think you just need to set a new location in there.
No, I don't know. I mean, like, I would pay a lot of money for a teleporter, definitely. I would kill a man for a teleporter.
I would not do that.
And then I would use the teleporter to avert the law. I would avoid the crap out of every single one of them.
All right. So, then we get Lois coming in.
Yeah.
And she's just a badass. She's just like, okay, destroyed subway. This is cool. I'm just going to hop down and slide down the railing.
I don't think she's a badass. I think she's just been so desensitized towards danger that she just doesn't even care anymore.
In Superman the Animated Series, at one point, they hijack a plane Lois is on. And then they go, fuck, she's the one Superman's always saving. And then they like a gag her.
Did they really? Oh my god. And I can only imagine what her reaction is. Just like, it's like, seriously.
She threatens them.
Why do I have to be on every one of these planes? It's like I'm JoJo Star or something.
She actually threatens them with Superman. She threatens the hijackers.
Yeah. She's like, I'm Lois Lane.
And Superman's gonna say, so they try and gag her, but she gets free and calls for Superman, who hears it. It's very funny. So
you're all pretty much fucked.
She just has no sense of danger.
Oh yeah.
She's like the best rock climber ever now because she'll just do it without a rope. She's like, I'm 1,500 feet up the air, but you know what?
I can pretty much.
Let's be honest. What are the chances Superman doesn't save me?
I'm in a relationship with Superman. I could die at any moment, so like, whatever. If everything just goes black, I just don't even care anymore.
Yeah. So she's kind of made on the potentially dying front. So she goes, I'd like an interview. One-on-one. Seriously, that's like pretty...
Yeah.
It's like actually because you can see from the animation and the words.
Oh my god, yeah, they're.
And Captain Adam's very amused expression.
Oh yeah, that cheeky smile. It's such fantastic. A shit-eating grin.
Yeah, it's such a shit-eating grin. It's fantastic. It gives Captain Adam so much character.
Right.
And just hats off again to the animation team on the whole DCAU.
Yeah.
Just consistently fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Even especially the little things, just the little small
like
details.
Captain Adam's smile,
like
how it
Captain
goes
Adam's
up and down, it's like a real person's smile would too.
Yeah, there's a lot you have to take away when making Captain Adam because he's very much not a person.
Yeah, he's just a containment suit.
He is a containment suit with a personality for some reason. I'm not really sure how that happened.
Well, he was a real person.
I know he was a real person, of course.
Before he was pure energy.
Yeah. I would
Captain
imagine the
Atom is
story.
what's inside the suit.
I know, yeah.
So,
I just want to. I haven't ever read his story, which is probably something I should.
so
do.
yeah, this is the second episode in a row with pretty explicit sexual references. Kind of weird.
What do you mean explicit?
Remember last episode where we had, yes, I have seen his underwear drawer?
Oh. Well, actually, hold on a second. What about the one where they were fighting after they fought the whale guy, Tombstone or Mandragora? After they fought Mandragora, and Hunter,
yeah.
Hunter took question and was like, "Where are we going?" And she's like, "Shh, don't worry, I'll take care of everything."
You're right, that's 3 in a row. I know at least the last 2 have been written by Dwayne McDuffie. Maybe he likes to do that.
He's got a little something for the adults watching this, huh?
Yep.
We're
A lot of cartoons do that. Disney is particularly famous for it.
Oh, of course.
I love it. He's like, I've got to do something someplace.
I've got something to do. I'm just going to be the biggest bro and let you get your shag on.
Yeah.
That's fine.
He's pretty fantastic.
But I really like that because it's very...
In character.
It's very endearing. We understand more of his character, not just as, he's very salute and do everything gung-ho, corporal, all that, general shit. He was also, he was a training boy, so he still has those feelings of understanding, the tie on the doorknob when someone wants to get their kicks on. He was there. He still is there. He's in this modus of being a person. We don't really see him much, show emotion, except for kind of angry and lasers. Lasers emotion, right?
In the first episode, we were talking about whether or not he was so close with Supergirl they could play off each other when she sticks out her tongue at him, or if he was just a stick in the mud.
Right. I think
we generally came down on the side that he was actually very close with Supergirl and kind of a mentor to her.
I don't know. I really don't see that. I see that more of him at that moment. He was very much of a stick in the mud, probably because this was one of their first missions. This was the first operation, and he's slowly getting used to it. He's delving more and more into that. I mean, we don't really have much.
That's nice, his character growth.
Oh yeah, no.
You tell a good story either way.
We don't really have much to understand that. It might also be with the fact that Supergirl is much younger and he's with a much older crowd. He's with Lois and Superman, and they're older, so they can understand more of this. In the other one, he's fighting with what? Who's he fighting?
Green Lantern is a.
He's fighting with. I don't want to say it, but he's fighting with a hippie, with a child, and a black guy. And if he's Mega Corporal America, I would say, he's still very much, yes sir, very much, straight arms, very good, got the shoulder pads going
I would
up.
point out that John is a Marine.
That's
and
true.
So he might expect some military discipline from Captain Atom.
Maybe that's why.
Well, I think Captain Atom would probably technically outrank John Stewart.
Was he corporal? Or he was general?
John Stewart? I think he was just a private.
Oh, really? Huh.
I know in his early backstory there were 2 races to promote him.
Yeah.
So
Jeez.
I always thought of him as a private.
In his original backstory, it was even worse.
Yeah.
And then in
his original backstory, he was totally awesome, but everyone was too racist to see it.
Oh my god. In his original backstory, what did he have, an afro, and he flew around?
He had an afro, but it was the 70s.
Called everyone honky and shit.
He was...
Excuse me. Yeah.
Okay, we've come far since the 70s.
We have, yes.
But he was actually a good character even in the 70s. They made it very clear he was out of work because even though he was a fantastically talented architect, because he was black. They actually took a pretty good stand. And they also, at the end of the thing, make Hal Jordan Green Lantern admit that he's kind of racist.
Yeah, I remember that
Hal
part.
Jordan says something like,
he was biased.
I've got stuff to work on here. I think, thank you for teaching me this.
Yeah. Although I really couldn't understand what the hell was going on there. Whichever.
Well, long story short, Guardians aren't racist. Hal Jordan is.
Guardians just hate everything. Whatever.
Which isn't being racist, because they hate everyone equally.
Everyone equally, right. Of course.
Also, they probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference between a black and white person, because They'd just be like, okay, you're all weird shapes.
Yeah, you're all humans, and I don't care.
I'm still getting over the weird shape thing. We've got somebody who's like a squirrel over there. Way more into that. Like the
oh my god! I'm pretty sure like they're gonna show Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, and they're gonna come up to one of the Guardians and be like, it's like this is a black person, and this is a white person, and this is a black human, and this is a white human, and like the Guardian's gonna look at them and it's like, you're cute. You think I give a shit that you're different colors? You're both human. I don't care.
And we've got the purple one over there who's got tentacles.
Yeah, and there's one guy who is actually just a big head with feet.
So the Guardians probably aren't racist because they don't have a comprehension of the idea of race.
They don't give a shit. How we ever got to the Guardians of this conversation, I wouldn't even know. The Guardians in referral to not the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Guardians of the Rings.
Yes, the Guardians on Oa.
Yeah.
Who run the Green Lantern Corps. So continuing on. So,
what a conjunction.
they've defeated Mantis, and they actually have a really cool scene where Superman flies off with Lois, and they
picks up Lois
have a reference to Superman 1, where they do the flying scene with him and Lois.
We're holding. What do you mean Superman 1? I never saw it actually.
The first Superman movie, there's this scene where he and Lois just fly through the air, and it's just a romantic scene where they fly through this beautiful night sky. And it's during the day in this scene, but it's a reference to Superman 1, and it's...
Oh, they fly through
it's
the
really
night?
cool.
And does he sing to her?
He doesn't sing,
I can show
but it's really... But there's
world.
music in the background.
Oh,
and
yeah, of course.
It's sweet. So,
Shining.
Captain Atom
Yes.
politely extricates himself from the third wheel situation.
That's a big word.
And he's going out until he's called by the general from Darkheart, actually.
Yep.
He's who calls him and says your commission has been reactivated.
Who's his voice actor again?
J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, J. Jonah Jameson.
Who's not the real name.
Yeah.
He
Plays
Jameson.
What the hell? No. Oh my God. What are you telling me? I was literally about to be like, yeah, and he wants pictures of Spider-Man. I'm like, what the fuck? What is his real name?
I don't know.
Oh my God. This is the worst. I always remember hearing his Gene Simmons. No, that's totally wrong. Is it something Simmons? Oh my God, please look this up because like it's actually killing me right now.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. It wasn't Gene Simmons, although it kind of makes the similar sound. I'm just
Continuing
gonna go over here and kill myself.
Continuing on. We are going.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yes.
they go and he tells him his Navy commission has been reactivated.
Which is just like weird.
Captain Atom. Oh, sorry. His Air Force commission. I was wrong.
Right. He was in the Air Force.
Yeah. So his Air Force commission has been reactivated.
You're back in the Air Force.
Yep. Which
In that
he's not
shape.
really delighted about. He's like, I'm kind of with these Justice League people.
Yeah, I've joined a new band now.
And-
That's really cool.
And General Wade just says, no. We were reactivating your commission. You've got to choose. And I love how they fade to black and credits. And we don't know what side he's chosen.
Right, yeah. We don't know what side he's chosen throughout the entire episode until the very end.
We just know something's going to happen.
In all honesty, I was expecting when I had first seen this to have this to be something that it would talk about and then in a later episode only touch up on again.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
I wish they had done that.
Just
and
like
I think that's what they would have done in 2016.
Right.
But storytelling has progressed, frankly, since 2005 when this episode came out.
What episode?
Let's see.
Episode 22.
Yep, came out in June 2005. And frankly, we've had a lot of really great serialized shows with the rise of Netflix and Hulu and all that stuff.
Word up.
Shows have gotten more serial and less episodic. So,
Yeah.
I wish we had something like this DCAU now because they could have so much more ability to storytell.
Yeah.
Excuse my terrible grammar there.
Yeah.
And then as we come out of the credits, we get that Superman scene I was talking about where they flirt.
You know, in all honesty, I actually, we're going back to that. I very much agree with the fact that we do have more serial episodes. We have more, not episodes, we have more shows that delve into a longer running plot. We have more episodes that kind of cut out a bit of filler. I'll still delve into it, of course, because
Yeah.
that's, it's how
Having
you
some
get more.
filler is nice.
Oh yeah, definitely. It lets us understand more character development as well. It lets us see funny, interesting ways that we can pair characters together. But with shows like Gravity Falls, with shows like Steven Universe, with shows like Young Justice, we are seeing exactly how we can get story out into these cartoons, into these entertainments, and
Yeah.
into these oh my god,
Entertaining shows.
into entertaining shows. We can see now how we can truly create something amazing that's not just like a fucking Ed, and Eddie day-to-day stupid shit going on.
Yeah, we've really progressed in television. People love to say it, and it's very true, that we're in the golden age of television right now.
Oh, yeah. You know what people also love to say?
Also, Superman gets to his thing,
Yeah.
and oh my god, it's a picnic on top of a rooftop. It's like the cutest thing on earth.
He's adorable. I would have kissed him right there. I would have been like, oh, Clark Kent, you're adorable. I will go to the prom with you.
And that's literally what she did. He goes, I bet your high school sweetheart
Yeah.
totally loved this. And he goes, as a matter of fact, she did.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, she did. And just like the plate of food that he brings out.
And he gets her like a really nice plate of food and then orange soda.
Well, because
He is like the most hilariously Midwestern
he's
person
such
ever.
a teenager right now. This is what he's doing. He's bringing her out on a date, and he's still dressed like fuck Superman, with his massive freaking biceps and
All right.
shoulders. Jesus Christ.
And they're on a really romantic date until Lois brings up the elephant in the room.
Oh.
Which is the fact that she and I think most people think the league is overstepping their bounds.
Yeah.
That it's been a collection of things, that in each situation they were right to do it. And each situation it had good consequences. But together they form a pattern that's really scary.
Yeah.
And Superman frankly doesn't take it well.
I, in all honesty, thought that he was going to yell at her.
And it's a callback to the Justice Lords episode.
Right.
Where Superman has dinner with Lois, who is under house arrest.
Right.
Because, like all good husbands, he's put his wife under house arrest.
Yeah,
So-
what else are you gonna do? The wife just wants to go off, and she should be talking too much. You can't let that bitch keep her cap. That's exactly what you need to do. You gotta put it on house arrest. I don't know what.
Hopefully that was unintelligible to the listeners. God, I hope that was unintelligible.
I hope more to God that people know what I was talking about.
So, continuing on. It's a callback to that episode of
That was a reference,
Justice
by the way.
League.
Just I'm not that. That's not no racist.
I think we've talked about feminism enough on this podcast that people know we're not sexist.
Oh my God.
Because we talk about feminism a lot. If this is your first podcast, thank you. But,
Welcome to Cartoon Conversations. We're about 5 actual minutes into the episode. The Justice League episode, and I don't know how many minutes into this one, and just being
23.
idiots. 23?
hey, but it hasn't been held up by a 10-minute discussion of feminism yet.
Oh,
So,
that's right.
we're ahead of schedule.
Oh my God, it's almost like we're actually good people.
So, and we haven't mentioned Buffy the Vampire Slayer once yet.
You haven't mentioned Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
That's a good point.
I
I'm the only
never
one who
mentioned
brings up Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
That's his
Continuing on.
Apparently. Put it on a shirt.
We will.
No. No, we can't, ever. You can't put something... You can't have a quote be about another show entirely. That's not how that works.
I think the shirt would be non-copyrighted Burton the Vampire Slayer or something like that.
It would be like saying, oh, hey, I really love The Big Bang Theory, and that's my shtick, and that's my quote. But you can't have that as a quote, because then it just looks like it's something for The Big Bang Theory.
Don't work on it.
Oh
Continuing
Don't
on.
shrug at me.
Okay. So, it's a nice callback to the Justice Lord episode where they have the super awkward one. But thankfully, this isn't the Justice Lord's world.
Yeah.
This is...
This time Lois
This
is making
world.
it super awkward.
No, Lois makes it super awkward in the other one because she has no sense of personal safety. Continuing
Well,
on.
I mean, like, what
Which-
else would
here's
she
the thing.
have done? What else
That's
could you
one
do?
of her best qualities, I should add. That she is just absolutely fearless. She is the ultimate Gryffindor.
Once again,
She
she's
and-
not a Gryffindor. She's been taking so many of the plants that she's been desensitized to all of it.
No, seriously. I think she and Hermione would be like best friends.
Oh my God.
Really.
Get your Harry Potter weeb shit out of here. Let's talk about Justice League. Let's talk about punching our problems instead of solving them with friendship.
So continuing on.
Harry, you've been awarded 10 points. Gryffindor, yeah.
Okay, so so her and Superman relationship is strong enough they can handle this, which is kind of cool. That we really see the depth of their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That
really
Lois is trying to help him, and she's willing to hurt him to help him.
Right. Well, she's willing to bring up awkward conversation. I don't think she's trying to hurt him. I think she's just trying to actually...
This is hurting him, and she's sad about it, but she loves him too much to not say it, which is the sign of a really good, mature relationship.
I like what she says right there.
And she has to compare him to Lex Luthor.
Yeah, I thought he was going to break the cup right there. I thought he was going to be
It's not a strong cup. It was good self-control of him not to.
It was not a strong cup. I was just... It's not even just the fact that it's not a strong cup. It's that he's Superman, so it would have, just exploded in his hands. But just the sheer fact that you would expect him to explode, because that's we've seen that before, you know? Whenever we see the big guy in action, like a trope of the big hero who's clearly gone a little too far. Or even let's see in Citizen Kane, when he goes, did you ever see Citizen Kane?
You know, it's to my eternal shame that I have not.
Yeah, no worries. Don't worry about it. There's a scene in it where we watch the main character kind of devolve into whatever, and he's like a mayor or something. So what happens is, a woman, his wife says, you know, the people think, and she's like about to say something, and then he screams, the people will think whatever I want them to think. And he's like, he's absolutely enraged at just everything at the moment. If this is the kind of explosion I would have expected Superman to have. When she says you're acting like Lex Luthor, I thought he would have tossed the cup aside or something, lasered a bird in the air and be like, don't ever call me Lex Luthor or something like that. Just scream because you would be so offended by it. But he was actually very calm about it. I mean, he showed good
emotion. The events
emotion.
of Clash might have something to do with that.
Maybe.
That maybe he would have done that if he hadn't done that earlier.
Maybe if he wasn't with Lex,
and maybe if he wasn't with Lois.
Yeah, because
we do our best around those we love.
He talked. Yeah, he talked to her as if he was disappointed in what she had to say. It was more of like an anger from like a lover instead of an anger from two argumentative sides. You know, what he said to her, she said, you know, like, you started to talk like Lex. And he goes, don't even joke about that. Or don't even joke like that. It was very much like from a friend, from family that he said something like that, you know? It really wasn't like, I'm so offended by the way that you would say that.
I think he was offended.
Well, no. I mean, like, he could be offended, but the thing is, it wasn't he wasn't offended and, like, I'm going to prove you wrong. It was, I was hurt by what you said, but I love you, so I'm not going to go any further.
Right.
It's, I'm going to let you say this because, you know, I believe in you as a person because we're family. Or, well, you know what I mean in that regard. Because he wants to boingo with his super dick.
So... Okay, I mean, there's a question of whether or not Superman can have sex.
The question not whether or not Lois Lane would survive.
Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing. His...
super penis?
I was going to say his sperm.
Bullet sperm?
If it's Kryptonian, it might rip through her.
Yo, what if... I saw a comic where it was just like, we watch Superman get naked and he's got, like, 3 tentacles coming out from his crotch. It's like, this is how Kryptonians have sex. I don't know what you thought. I'm an alien, you know?
Yeah.
It's not always going to look like human.
Yeah, it's kind of lucky that this is normally covered.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Bath time was a little bit weird for the first couple of years.
For my parents.
Yeah. So.
Oh my god. I think I ate something rank. Oh my god.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
So, continuing on, the Question and Huntress are also on a date. Theirs has a little bit more violence, though.
The other date's awesome.
So, that's because Huntress is defending Question as he hacks into a company's computer. We later find out it's a Cadmus terminal. Huntress easily dispatches the guard. Question explains that they're looking for a link between Lex Luthor and Cadmus. And then Huntress demands a real date.
Oh my god.
The Question reluctantly agrees, after she steals the files from him and then puts them in her swimsuit area.
My absolute all-time favorite part of this scene is the fact that when Huntress says, like, I'm done, and then Question says, not yet, grabs the computer and hurls it at the guy behind her. Just fucking no remorse. KOs that. He's dead. Oh my god. He was hitting the fucking skull with the computer at point blank range.
People in the DC universe are more durable. This is known. No. This is known. Remember the guy who was picked up by his head, palmed like a basketball, and then thrown across a room and his neck didn't snap?
That's true.
People in the DC universe are significantly more durable.
I don't think...
They also don't get concussions.
Did we ever see him after that? Did we ever see him, like, continue to move after he was picked up and hurled across the room? Did he say anything after that? I don't think so. I think they just immediately left and...
He was fine.
We don't know! What if he really was dead?
He wasn't. They would have discussed it.
We don't. No, they don't have to discuss it. They talk about, like, you know, hurting people all the time in this shit. They never say kill because, of course, it's a kid's show. But do we ever see him again? You can't say for sure.
He's just a
head cannon.
Guard.
He's dead. Mandragora killed him. He killed him. He is a mafia.
No,
boss.
he gets back up.
No, he doesn't. I don't remember.
He, like, moves or something.
I don't remember.
It's fine. Mandragora did not kill the guy.
I choose not to see this.
So, now we go to under an abandoned warehouse. Lex is getting a physical from Dr. Hamilton, who tells Lex that he has no cancer.
Yeah.
Which Lex Luthor is a little surprised about. He also tells him...
Just a little, Jordan. Just a little.
He also tells him that he's the body of a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
Which Lex is kind of into. like, this is like good news for him. Not only am I not dying, I'm also the healthiest I've ever been.
Yeah, so for a little while they've talked about the fact that Lex Luthor had cancer. And that was one of the big things that he was doing in regards to why he was so humbled in a certain episode before, why he seemed a little bit off-putting. He's currently battling cancer, and one of the things he has is the Kryptonian bodysuit that's keeping the cancer at bay. And they rip it off of him, and he freaks out. To which Professor Hamilton then says, "The cancer is gone. Like, you can't find it anymore. It's crazy."
Yeah, not even in remission. Gone. Which was cool. It's also, if you know where this is going, foreshadowing.
Holy shit!
So, I didn't actually catch it my first time through.
Oh, me neither.
Then Amanda Waller comes in and breaks the bad news. Question and Huntress hit a Cadmus terminal, and they might have everything. I kind of hate this scene.
Why?
Because Amanda Waller comes in like a subordinate to Lex. She should be an equal to Lex Luthor. Well, she is the more interesting villain of the two. I want to follow Amanda Waller. I don't want her subservient to Lex. Right. I want it to be a partnership where Lex Luthor thinks he's getting the better of it, and Amanda Waller thinks she's getting the better of it.
This is the build-up. This is the build-up part where we see that she plays off of him because he will eventually become something even greater. Remember that. So we find out that he's slowly becoming mad with power. This is him when, before he was very cold and calculating. He still is very calculating, but to the degree where he seems like a feral imp or something. He's just
He's lost some of his coldness, yeah.
Yeah. He's become wild with it, He understands a bit more about the deviousness that he's doing. I mean, he still has all these great plans, but now he's kind of delving into them like with a bitter satisfaction. It's kind of creepy,
Lex Luthor was never someone who...
What?
How should I put this? Lex Luthor...
Would gloat about his,
No.
He would,
he was never somebody who would have such a bad plan as to unnecessarily tell the Question his entire plan.
Right. Well, in that fact, I feel like he was just feeling himself. And once again, that's what he's starting to delve into.
He's reading his own press, you might say.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that guy's definitely not dead.
Yeah, he's totally dead. Oh my god.
I want to talk about the bravery of the Cadmus guards, by the way. They just charged Huntress and fought her and gave it a good fight.
Well, I mean, what else are they going to do? They're being paid. We're currently
Okay,
watching
I
parts-
am not going to attack Huntress no matter how much you pay me.
We're currently watching parts of the episode
Yeah.
where that one guy got reamed in the face with a fucking, a monitor, and there you go. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure he's dead.
So, continuing on,
Do
the
we ever
Cadmus
see him
guards,
again?
you don't do that just because someone's paying you. You do that because you believe in what you're doing.
I would disagree.
I think these Cadmus guards Cadmus has a real point, and the loyalty of their hired employees speaks to the
Listen.
fact that they are an
Listen,
excellent.
they're not
they
fighting.
have-
They're not fighting Superman. They're not fighting the Flash. They're fighting Huntress and Question. Okay.
Okay, I get it. This isn't the A-Team.
They're fighting an ex-Justice League and a creepy guy with a weird Play-Doh mask.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, regardless of whatever the fuck they're doing, Lex Luthor is currently delving into insanity, as we see later on, and currently Amanda Waller is playing a bit onto that. She's building him up, not building their union up. We're building Lex Luthor.
Yeah, I don't like that though.
I
want Amanda Waller to be an equal.
I
I
know
think
you-
she's the better villain of the two.
I know
I
you-
want to follow her.
I know you do, but it's very unfortunate because of the fact that we don't really ever see her much after that. After that ending,
She appears a couple times, but
she
yeah,
appears a couple
isn't-
times, but never in the same.
She's
sense.
never the same. After this,
Yeah.
Lex is our main villain,
Yeah.
which is frankly just a shame.
Yeah.
Like,
If you think
she's
I
the
mean,
better
like,
villain of the two.
I mean, the thing is, the way that they ended it with Lex Luthor was amazing. It's just that,
It's very good.
her character in itself kind of fell short.
Look,
That's the thing.
it ends. What they did is very good.
Yeah, it was satisfying.
It's just
it could have been so much.
it could have been even better if Amanda Waller
She
was the main
could
villain.
have been a contender.
Here's the thing. You could have easily changed this to make Lex Luthor and Amanda Waller equal partners in this.
If Lex Luthor was being, if Amanda Waller was being all that crazy shit,
Something
that's going on
like
with Lex Luthor.
it would have been cool if they met when Lex Luthor was in prison, and she and him worked out the plan for Cadmus, and they founded it together, and it was very clear they were equals. I think that would have been really cool.
If you think about it, it's really that Lex Luthor is the main villain of the entire story. Even when
Yeah.
we go into the second season of this, he's once again, he still has such a commanding presence.
Well, I think most people consider him the chief villain of the DC universe.
Yeah, definitely.
That
Chief bad guy.
he fights the chief hero. He's
Justice bad
the
guy.
main
Yeah.
villain.
And he's
Nobody
just a
tops
man.
Luthor.
He's just a man.
But-
Which is even better.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. I have a soft spot in my heart for Luthor.
What is it? Oh,
because
definitely.
of All Star Superman, where that scene where he's talking to what is it? Superman's secret identity. He's talking to Clark Kent.
Clark
He's
Kent.
like, I like you, Clark. You know what I like about you? You're human, not like that alien. And they actually have a pretty nice bonding moment together. Everyone should
Is that the
both
one where-
watch and read All Star Superman just for that scene. It's probably on YouTube if you want to just watch that scene.
Oh my god.
So, we should probably get going. In his apartment, the Question is working on the encryption. He cracks the encryption, and we get a little fun encryption cracked on the screen, which is very nice, Question. I'm glad you took the time to code a screen that tells you succeeded.
Good job, Question.
Like, I imagine that after he cracks an encryption, he just presses, like, Alt A7, and then his little encryption cracked thing comes up because he wrote a little code.
I'm gonna go into my computer and press Alt A7 and see what happens.
Nothing. It's a made up shortcut.
I do it and
But-
like the screen explodes on me or something.
I don't even think you can do
I get
shortcuts with the
sucked
number
into
keys.
a wormhole,
So continuing on.
and thus my TV show begins.
So he's horrified. He goes a little bit crazy. We should also point out that in Lex Luthor's files they have a bunch of just hilarious names.
Oh right, every
Such
little thing
as
is something important.
Zarathustra, who is a character in a Nietzsche novel, which I feel like that's probably just Lex Luthor really likes the book.
Right.
Thus spake Zarathustra. So he's got just an entire folder on his computer of awesome quotes from Thus Spake Thus spake Zarathustra.
We can talk about the
Brazil Boys,
Brazil
who I'm pretty
Boys.
sure is the name of the boy band that Supergirl is a fan of, and the Question thinks is controlling the world.
Yeah, so the fact that he has a goddamn file on that is even better.
Maybe the Question is right about that, which is a nice hint.
Right. There's the Pandora Project, which is very interesting.
That's
a play on the Pandora episode. No, Pandora.
the
Episode.
Pandora's box
Uh,
episode, where it released the supervillains envy, greed that Captain Marvel fights.
Well.
The 7 deadly sins, and then
Oh, you think that's what it's referring to? I thought it was referring to Pandora as the
you mean like the anti-hero Pandora?
Not Forever Evil. It was Crisis. I think it was Crisis.
It wasn't Crisis, but you gave me the comic. I have it somewhere around here.
I think it was Crisis. The Pandora Project.
You gave it to me. It was good. It was the one where they introduced Owlman and the the Crime Syndicate to the New 52.
Yeah, Owlman, Ultraman, Superwoman.
Yeah.
Power Ring, and Zippy, the boy with a weird fucking head.
So yeah. Oh, and then Grid.
Yeah, Grid.
Grid.
Gets fucked.
So yeah, continuing on.
There's just a bunch of
There you go.
fantastic little things.
And then he clicks on the perfect ones to freak him out the most. He goes, President Luthor. By the way, I am so happy that President Luthor made plans to put himself on Mount Rushmore. Like, seriously. I love how he took time out of his plan of not becoming president to put himself on Mount Rushmore. I imagine his Mount Rushmore is just 4 Lex Luthors.
Right. It's just 4 Lex Luthors, and they're all like high-fiving each other.
Yeah.
My favorite part is the fact that after he opens it up into the second point, there is the title Flashpoint 23, which is actually the title of the next episode, which is the 23rd episode. Flashpoint, this episode being Question Authority, episode 22, Flashpoint, episode 23. I just thought that was a very neat little trick.
It was a nice thing. I liked it. And so he clicks on Oval Office, which gets him to the clip of Superman killing Lex Luthor in the Justice Lord's universe.
The very bad happened.
Which, not great.
Not like very good. Not a good at all.
Also, it's a question where Lex Luthor got that
Video. Right.
Like, I mean, he could have had the information, like, clearly, but why does he have the video?
Fuck it. I don't know. I don't care.
Maybe he, did a hop into the alternate universe, and then...
I also really like the fact that Question has the mask on even when he's alone.
Yeah.
He's in his own thing.
So, Question goes a little more crazy, I guess.
Yeah, well, he hasn't dazed or slept in days. It is really rattling his psyche. Also, Huntress is once again as well in costume. As she comes in to visit him, thinking that it's so goddamn rank in here, she opens up a window because he has not slept in goddamn days or taken a shower.
So he's still ranting crazily, and she shows some really good concern. Once again, fantastic animation on her facial expressions. The facial expressions in the show are consistently amazing. And then she watches the videos, and yeah, not good for her either. She's not a fan of Superman the Murderer.
Oh, she's not. I don't think a lot of people are a fan of Superman melting the crap out of
we see the video, and I have a question.
What?
Why does Superman's heat vision explode the White House? It doesn't normally do that. Normally it's pretty precise.
I don't know, maybe he's just so goddamn mad at the moment that he nukes the crap out of the place. Or maybe that's what Lex Luthor had, nukes somewhere.
Oh, you think there's a nuke under the White House and Superman exploded that?
Yeah.
Makes about as much sense as anything else.
Maybe he just started punching the core of the earth. I don't know, and I don't care. It was an explosion. We're getting so much crazy plot up in this. The Huntress now knows the question. Now knows the question out of all people that you would ever want to know this to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, those are not two of the Justice League's saner, more responsible members.
Yeah.
So
ones that seem to work in out.
Now we jump to the Watchtower, where Aztec and Steel are helping Superman repair part of the main lobby. Just 1,000 tons of metal.
Yeah, Superman is holding up a giant block of metal, and Steel and Aztec are just going to town on it.
And I would like to point out that Question just walks straight under the giant piece of metal that Superman's holding up, and then threatens Superman.
Yeah, he has no qualms against it. He has
Superheroes
no-
are so cool.
You want to talk about Lois Lane having no fear switch? Fucking goddamn, the Question has no fear switch. Oh my god. He went into his brain and shut that off.
Yeah.
Shut that off himself.
He might well have done open brain surgery on himself to take away his fear. He's the Question. Anything is possible.
The easy part was getting the brain out. The hard part was getting the brain out. And then he goes.
That's happened every once in a while since then.
He goes a little nuts. Yeah.
So, they go into the conference room,
Yeah.
and basically the Question just interrogates him about it. He also does a little crack about how the 7 original members are a little bit out of touch, let's say. And they're a little bit too... They have a little bit too much power, which is a nice little dig to put in there. And it really builds the world, I think. That not all the superheroes are happy together.
Right.
That there's some...
There's unrest within the Hall.
Even
of
with the
God.
JLU.
Yeah.
Even within the JLU. So I thought that was cool. So
It's a bit crazy going on in there. You can only imagine.
he lets them know about the Justice Lords.
Can't. Yes.
And
He understands that, yes. He
they get
lets
into an
on-
argument. Superman damages one of the chairs. He's so angry. And it
Yeah.
crumples like metal, which is kind of cool. The chairs are... We now know the chairs are made of steel.
Yes.
So
Man of Steel must be very, very
they must be incredibly uncomfortable.
Uh-huh.
So continuing on.
Riding up my butt.
Yeah, continuing on. So the tempers flare, and now we cut to Lex Luthor, who's sulking in his office, where he has sharks. Just want to talk about that total awesomeness.
Hold on.
Lex Luthor has sharks.
I want to talk once again, actually, about... This is a bit more important of the fact that the Question has no fear switch. Whenever whenever anyone from the Justice League is a big one that talks down, like, threateningly,
Yeah.
the other person will shit their pants. We saw Batman with Amanda Waller, and she was shaking. We later see Superman talk to Hamilton, and he had trouble breathing.
I want to get to that when we get to that.
But we see the Question railing on Superman right here, and he is unfazed. He does not care.
Also, Batman has apparently also hacked Amanda Waller's files.
Yeah.
Seriously need to get better encryption, guys.
Uh-huh.
Like, 2 guys have already cracked it.
Not even if Luthor was the government.
Oh my god, the Question is so amazing.
Yeah, the Question is a fantastic character. You know, I just want to tell him, you can go through my trash any day.
You can go. I go through everyone's trash.
There's a lot of people in the Justice
You've been
League.
going through my trash? Don't flatter yourself. I go through everyone's trash.
So when he says everyone, does he mean every league member? Does he like go into Aztec's trash and Steel's trash?
He goes
and
through all of it. Through everything.
that's a lot of going through trash.
He's the Question. That's what he does.
I love that he has sharks.
Yeah, I also really
Lex
enjoyed-
Luthor has sharks.
Yes.
So we're gonna that, and he goes and the Question is in his chair, and Lex Luthor is just. I feel like superheroes show up in his office unannounced just all the time. He's like, "Fuck, I had Huntress scheduled at 2:00 today, and now the second half of this dumb fuckery couple is here. Like, really?"
Oh, jeez. Another one is showing up.
So the Question explains his plan. Basically, I know about the Justice Lords. I'm going to kill you because the League won't disintegrate if I murder you.
That's the thing.
It's a pretty decent plan.
This is
I give it a 4 out of 5.
We're watching one of the heroes physically explain that he will murder Lex Luthor. He's going to kill Lex Luthor to try and prevent Armageddon. And he's talking about it with like such a clear fucking conscience.
He does not have a clear conscience about this. He is not happy about
Oh, I mean, like, he's not happy about it,
But he
he's
knows
like-
he's right.
He's just like, this just has to be done. Oh my god, and it's so insane.
it. He's thought it out. It's a decent plan.
He's talking about, he's just like gonna snuff him out, like, holy shit. And then what happens next?
I love Lex Luthor in this. He's like, unfortunately for that, it's not really an option for you.
Just a little bit
And
less
he
fun.
just friggin' backhands the Question across the room.
Across the room.
Cracks the safety glass on his Shark Tank.
Mm-hmm.
Which is probably... How do you replace Shark Tank glass? Because if you know...
Carefully. Very, very carefully.
No, I get that. But you can't replace it. because it would.
They
take it out. The water would all come out.
They take out the sharks from the top and then go and fucking replace it somehow. I don't
They would
care.
have to drain the tank.
Lex
right.
Luthor is currently beating the shit out of Question like he's a rag doll, and Lex Luthor has super strength. What is this? What is he doing right now? He is hurling the Question through a table. He's bitch slapping him because
He lays a bigger bomb than just dropping him through the table.
Yeah.
He points out that he doesn't want to be president. He spent $75 million, which, it's cute that $75 million used to run a presidential campaign.
Jeez.
I really miss when $75 million used to run a presidential campaign. Continuing on.
To run a fake campaign.
Yeah, so he spent $75 just to fuck with Superman.
Just
Which, by the way, if you can get away with it, kind of worth it.
Yeah.
It's really funny when you fuck with Superman.
Just the thing though is that he's talking down to him so hard and he's loving it. This isn't something that Lex Luthor really does.
He doesn't do physical.
Yeah, of course he never does physical. He's not
violence is the last refuge of the incompetent.
He does physical whenever he's in the suit, never when he's out of it.
Well, here's the thing. He does physical, but that's part of a larger plan. That's like when his actual plan falls apart, he's got his green fighting suit as a backup.
Right.
He's not... His main plan involved shooting Superman with a kryptonite bullet, or stealing money from someone, or something like that. His real plan is never...
What?
Let's beat up a C-list superhero.
Oh my god.
With my fists.
The best part is that he picks Question up by his throat and then he starts smacking him. He doesn't punch him, he smacks him. Now that's actually kind of important in a way because of the fact that we see that he's reveling in this. He loves what's going on right now. He's got so much power and he's belittling the Question right now. He's not punching him. He's open palm smacking him like a child. He's beating him like he's trying to teach a dog, saying, "No, don't pee on the rug." But this is a person. He's got so much crazy power right now and he's talking down to him because he's going nuts, in my opinion. This is where we really start to see him lose his shit.
So now we get a montage where the Flash is captured and the President of the United States, Lex Luthor, kills him execution style.
He's gonna pull the freaking trigger.
Like, he doesn't have a guy who does that?
No!
King Joffrey had a freaking guy who does that.
Joffrey was like 15 and no one wanted him to be
Seriously.
alive.
Very rarely do I compare people to Ned Stark negatively. But you could use a little less Ned Stark there, Lex Luthor.
Listen.
And a little more...
Listen.
Anybody else ever.
Listen. So, what happens with Lex Luthor is you have to understand that his ego, you could pilot this thing. This thing has wings. It has a steering wheel. It is a freighter class. He, once again, would love to pull the trigger on fucking the Flash. He would absolutely... This would be his goddamn crowning moment right here.
Yeah. So
and then,
that leads to nuclear winter,
and then
which is not good.
And
so now we cut to torture, which is just awful. I'm sorry. This is awful.
Torture.
It's especially awful when you think about the fact that at this point they didn't yet know that the U.S. was torturing people, and we were soon to find that out. So this is hard to watch post Abu Ghraib. So continuing on, he's being tortured by electricity, and it's hard to watch. I really don't like the scene. I don't like watching it. I wish for the first time, I wish the animation was worse.
This actually reminds me of a scene from the Powerpuff Girls where Mojo Jojo was cranking up the fucking electricity. with do you remember with Bubbles? Did you ever see that episode?
No, I didn't.
You never watched the Powerpuff Girls?
They're bringing it back, actually.
Yeah, they brought it back. It was very funny because like he kept cranking it up and she kept taking it and he was like, "You can go up to 11?" I think it was 11 to 12, whatever. But like it showed how badass Bubbles was.
I love there's an XKCD comic where it goes
What?
it's 2 panels.
Uh-huh.
It was actually 3 panels. Regular person, engineer, smart engineer. Okay, so it's a guy who goes and eats 3 of the panels. Hey, I got this news from Dario. It goes all the way up to 11. And then the regular person says, awesome, dude. The engineer says, you do realize it's an arbitrary scale. It means absolutely nothing. The numbers don't correspond to anything. And then the really smart engineer goes, I'll make you one that goes to 15.
Yeah, right. I was waiting for that. I was like, let me find a way to market this.
Yeah. So, they're interrogating him, but the question just tells them that aglets are part of a secret government conspiracy.
I love that.
And fluoride allows you to be tracked by satellites. So.
The best part about it was that he didn't say it was a government conspiracy. It was just that he's saying their true purpose is horrifying.
Yeah, their true purpose is sinister.
Yeah, it's sinister. I love
So next time you look down on your shoes, fear the aglets.
Those little fucking clasping motherfuckers.
So now Superman is flying around, and when he hears the signal watch he gave to Jimmy Olsen. So,
it's got some
he goes,
Jimmy.
Turns around, goes to save her, and he finds Huntress has Jimmy Olsen tied up.
Save her.
She explains that Question has been gone a couple days. They track the Question's earpiece, which every Justice Leaguer has. Remember in the Double Date episode where Green Lantern calls them to be teleported using the earpiece. That earpiece. So they track the Questions one where they find that
We're talking about my favorite part is the fact that Jimmy in the scene where he's being tied up says something, like he mumbles something to Superman, and Superman goes, "Not now, Jimmy."
Yeah.
Like he's talking to Huntress. He's just like, a minute, Jimmy.
Also, we just cut from this scene, so we have no indication that Jimmy Olsen was ever untied.
Yeah, right.
So in my headcanon, he's just up there. Like 2 days later, they remember him and they're like, "Oh fuck,
shit!" And they come back and he's just passed out.
And Jimmy Olsen is not happy.
Oh yeah, it's some Hangover. That's the Hangover. The story of the Hangover 1 is the guy that was trapped on top of the roof.
So continuing on, they go and the Huntress, when they find the Question's comlink and they find he's not there, she desperately scavenges through the dump, and it's really sad.
I loved that actually.
It's really good animation. You see her pain.
Well, also the voice actress did really well. She was really sad about this.
Yeah.
She was like screaming and ripping through the trash. She was like, I'll find you. Yeah. I don't know. She expected the worst probably because she's been through that. She understands death. And this was a part where, like she didn't want it to happen again.
But thankfully, Superman's been in this situation a couple times before.
Yes, he sure
He knows
has.
that...
Then when they dump bodies, they never do it in one piece.
He just knows that. Why would you bother? And since he's not so close with the Question, as we've seen when he calls him a crackpot earlier, when he's talking to Batman, he can look at it a little bit more logically than the Huntress can.
Right.
So, he does that, and then the Huntress provides the information that Cadmus probably took him. Then Superman says that the Justice League knows where Cadmus is, they're just waiting for evidence.
Right.
They discuss about different ways. There's a great interaction where Huntress says, "Yeah, I hate when you guys do that. That's why I left." And Superman goes, "Yeah, you were fired." She doesn't ever come back to that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You didn't leave. We kicked you out, bitch. You didn't have a choice.
But in the end, he does give in to her way and says they won't play by the rules this time.
Yeah. In all honesty, I'm really not that big of a fan of Huntress. I feel like that character trope has been played up too much.
Yeah.
It's a little annoying in my opinion.
So they go back to the same warehouse and they have soldiers
armed
shooting guns. Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
They have guns. So Huntress stands behind Superman and the bullets just have no effect on him.
Absolutely not.
Like, he walks straight past them. One hits his eye. It kind of tickled.
Yeah. Hold on.
And he melts all of their guns and hurts none of them.
Yeah.
And I love how he comments to Huntress.
Didn't want to get you to get hit with a ricochet.
Like, as if there's just no danger to him.
He's also he's being so incredibly professional about this. He's not like
He's not hurting anyone.
Well, no, it's
Like, the
not,
Huntress is, like, jumping around and fighting everyone.
He's not toying with people. Like, this is just how it is.
It's business.
This is the X, Y, and Z. This, you know, the routine. This is how he does it. First he disarms them, and then they try and beat him up, and then he gets rid of them, and then he tells them, you know, what's going on. That's literally, he wasn't playing with them, you know? Like, they all jumped on him like it was some kind of fucking turmoil or whatever.
I thought that's the second time in this episode where we have amazing bravery by the Cadmus soldiers and guards. They believe in Cadmus in a way I don't think I've ever believed in anything.
I swear to God.
It really shows how Cadmus views itself as the good guy.
Or
and how,
maybe-
in many ways, Cadmus is necessary.
Or maybe they just have really good dental. Yeah.
Or maybe
What about that?
Cadmus is more good than we see.
Or maybe it's the complete opposite. Maybe Cadmus has something on each one of these soldiers. Maybe if you don't jump on Superman, you might not see your daughter in One Piece again. How about
Maybe,
that?
but that seems less likely.
Are you sure?
That's a lot of daughters you would have to kidnap.
Yeah, I'm sure they have a lot of money to kidnap many daughters.
I mean, Lex
look
Luthor's
at
already
the-
spending $75 million on his presidential campaign. How much money do you think they have? They already said
They've
it's
got
all
so
off the
much
government
money.
books. No, it's all off the government books.
They've got so much money. They don't need anything else.
I don't know how much money they have.
Oh my god! And just
They cut a research
you
department
see-
because they didn't have enough money for
Did
it.
you see, or they cut a research part for more sinister means? Maybe they didn't have enough research to fund their kidnapping everyone's daughters fund, huh? Huh? What about that?
I think it'd be more logical that the Cadmus soldiers believe in what they're doing.
I would disagree. There was a lot of franticness in the fact that they all jumped Superman at one go. They were trying to get him out, you know. They're like this is for Gloria.
They were kind of young. I don't think all of them had children. Continue on.
They're young
So,
young fathers.
so Superman looks around for the question, but he sees instead Dr. Hamilton.
Yes.
And from Superman the Animated Series, he and Dr. Hamilton were actually very close. He's a reoccurring character on Superman the Animated Series, and he appears a couple times in Justice League Unlimited. In fact, he even is shown to be close to Supergirl as well,
Right.
having operated on her.
Yes.
So, this is kind of a big deal to Superman. So, they confront each other, and he says, "When did Cadmus recruit you?" Dr. Hamilton then says, "Actually, I went to them." Once again, we see how Cadmus is more than just a bad organization. They have a real purpose. They are, in their view, the good guys. Dr. Hamilton calls them the last hope of humanity. Superman's very offended, but this is basically the same stuff Lois said to him. And it's kind of moving how he talks in personal terms about how he was fooled by Superman.
I really enjoyed the fact that, oh yeah, okay, right here, this is one of the scenes where another human is bad-mouthing Superman pretty much, and Superman is losing his cool. And Dr. Hamilton is like recoiling in fear pretty much.
He's yelling at him.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, he kind of has a right to.
What, to yell at
He
Dr.
stole,
Hamilton?
if somebody
Yeah.
stole my cousin's DNA and made a clone of her designed to kill her,
Yeah.
I might
Dick
lose
move,
my
man.
cool. I might lose my cool.
Dick move, yeah.
So,
There is a bit
but
of
Superman in the end is a very good guy.
Yeah.
In the end, he's the person who doesn't do that.
Oh yeah.
So he walks away like a man. It was a really good moment that shows you why in the end Superman is the good guy of this story. That even though Cadmus has a point, in the end you don't have to fear Superman. But
Right.
the counterpoint is the pure, unadulterated look of relief that Dr. Hamilton has as he leaves.
Right.
Knowing that he feared for his life. I love,
he
they
needs
took
to go and
extra
change his
time.
pants.
They took a good 10, 15 seconds after the episode, which is a lot of time in a 22-minute episode, to
show
just
the
show Dr.
intimidation.
Hamilton
Yeah. Well,
just scared.
yeah, they did the same thing with Amanda Waller, where she realized that she was
Yeah.
shaking when she was yelling at
These
Batman.
superheroes are scary, and they're unaccountable to anyone but themselves, and it's not... There are dark sides to superheroism.
Just like that one guy, Darkseid. Dude, it
So,
was so funny.
Huntress is fighting some people, and she's knocked them out. they go and they rescue.
Question, yeah.
They rescue the question.
Who's still absolutely, all he's doing is mumbling to himself. He's still kind of, to keep himself sane, he mumbles every little thing that had happened. You know, all the little stuff that he had discovered over the years in his own little controversy, and every little, what do you call them? What are the conspiracy theories?
Yeah.
Every little conspiracy theories. He's just sitting there and mumbling them to keep himself sane.
It's a good anti-torture tactic.
Oh, very much so. You start
Good
talking
job.
about what you're doing. Or,
So-
what is it? You count backwards in multiples of 7?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know anti-torture tactics.
Yeah. It was real.
I mean, I've heard a little bit because you read the newspaper, you hear that there are them, but I don't know what they are. So
If you're ever being choked, you want to look upwards and smile. Apparently, it will stretch your thick neck muscles. There you go.
does. I feel that
Yeah.
it kind of does. So
So if you're ever being tortured,
being choked, it's a good thing you sat through 1 hour and 6 minutes of this podcast to get to the anti-choking tip.
And if you're ever defusing a nuclear hydrogen bomb, all you have to do is
cut the red wire.
the red wire, right? And if there isn't a red wire, just start cutting wires until you find one that looks red.
No. It goes Roy G. Biv. Just
Oh,
like the
all right.
rainbow, you cut down. If there isn't a red, you go orange.
Orange.
If there isn't orange, you go yellow. Just
Right.
continue on down the rainbow.
Grab a fistful of things inside of the bomb and just rip
pull.
it. Just start ripping out, It'll
Yeah.
be fine. You'll be fine. There you go. All right, keep going.
Although make sure you do your nails. It's
right.
murder
right,
on your
yeah.
nails.
Oh, yeah.
beforehand.
After, yeah.
You might want to take like a file for afterwards. So continuing on, they rescue the question and they're taking him out. The Huntress actually has a
What?
pretty sweet moment with the question where
Oh,
she
yeah.
reassures him and
like,
she
"It's okay, baby
holds him
doll."
under his arm. And then now Captain Adam comes in and says, "Don't worry, Superman. You won't have to do it." Anything.
Oh, no.
And Superman's just excited to see him. He's got a big smile and he gives Captain Adam the thumbs up and he's like, "Good to see you. Cover our flag."
Yep.
And
here's
this
the
is
reveal.
where we find out.
Yep. Captain
I'm
Adam.
afraid you misunderstand.
He made
I'm
his
speaking
choice.
as an officer of the United States Air Force.
Oh, shit. He made
And
his choice.
he has made his choice.
Oh, no.
And it's the government. And
Yeah.
I think we need to have it out here, Elliot.
Right.
You want to do your case first?
Okay, so I understand where he's coming from. Truly, I do. I understand the fact that, some people have a code, some people have morals they live by, and if you go back on them, you feel less of a person. And it's truly hard to live by certain things. And, as a man of the military, that code has been slammed into you. I'm sure he's got familiar family kind of ties with the military, so going against them would seem like anarchy, like murder, against himself, against his own pride. But for the greater good, you are the League, you are the Justice League, you are a member of that higher society. You have no ties with the government anymore, with these fucking people that you have very much every understanding at the fact that Lex Luthor's on their side, Cadmus is on their side. This is everything that my friends have been yelling about for the entirety of everything. What kind of ties do you have
But
with
he's
these
not
guys?
in the loop. These
do you
non-original
mean he's
members
not
are
in the
not
loop?
in the loop about the bad sides of Cadmus.
I'm pretty sure they understand the bad
And
sides
look-
of the government.
Look, that the question is being tortured should have been a red flag for him. I'll admit that. But here's the thing. He has a duty to the military just as much as to the Justice League. In many ways,
He
more.
doesn't, though, because he
'Cause the
ended his
Justice-
service. He ended his service.
No,
and
he
they're-
went into the reserves.
No, they
If-
said they're reinstating him.
From the reserves.
What does that mean? I have no idea.
He joined the Air Force Reserve. That they can call him up at any time. But day to day, he isn't part of the military.
Well, that's his fault then.
Yes, yes, it is, and
So
I think
I still don't
that
see
if
that
his
it was a
first
good
loyalty,
decision.
if his first loyalty wasn't to the military, he wouldn't have gone into the reserves. He would have left the armed forces. He would have taken his honorable discharge,
Right.
and he would have been a civilian. But he didn't choose to do that.
Discharge.
He went into the reserves, And I think that says something about what his priorities are. And I think he made the right decision.
I
think many people have serious reservations about the power grab the Justice League did when they went to Justice League Unlimited. I think those questions require the government to have a certain amount of superpowered people to counter that threat.
I still completely disagree because of the sole fact that he should know the difference between right and wrong.
I don't think that's so clear.
I think it should be. I mean, one, you were talking about the red flag. Two, understanding that what is better in right and wrong, the government or the Justice League?
I think you can make a very good case that it's the government is
I
the better
would
of
totally
those two.
disagree.
The U.S. government is accountable to the taxpayers. The Justice League is accountable to nobody.
I don't believe that everything that the government was doing and everything that Cadmus was doing was being withheld from him. Was being withheld from the Justice League. I feel like that's something that they would have talked about with everyone because of how big that is. They would have said, you know, if anything Cadmus comes up, tell us because we've got some beef going on with Cadmus, all right? I'm pretty sure that would be a logical thing to assume. Him having this code, him thinking that the government has a place for him simply because of the fact that he doesn't maybe know, simply because of the fact that he was at one point in time instated into the army. That's bullshit.
He grew up in the military. The military gave him his powers. But his home life.
You saw how he didn't want to be a part of it first, remember? He said, like, I'm not in the military. I'm in Justice League now. He was against it. If the guy said, like, you know, you're being reinstated...
I think he was conflicted. I think
he's conflicted because... I think he's conflicted not because he thinks that the other side is right. I think he's conflicted because he's following his own militaristic code. And he can't go against that code or else he'll hurt himself morally. I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that he thinks one is right or the other. I think he's just following by his stupid, prideful code, which is totally wrong.
I disagree. One, I think moral codes are very useful.
I think they're
and I think it is to think that we can objectively, in each situation, judge the morals of a situation, I think is the height of hubris. I think that following clear ethical rules is a better way to conduct yourself ethically because it takes your ego out of it.
There's an understanding of right and wrong and an understanding of moral codes, but what he was doing is he was being strung along. He's not following you know, like justice and society. He's just saying, who do I have tell me what to do? That's it. It's not a sense of what's right and wrong. It's a sense of like what are his own prideful moral decisions. It's not like a sense of...
I think it's reasonable.
I think it's pride.
I think it's very reasonable for the government to ask loyal superpowered individuals to support their cause over an unelected, unaccountable paramilitary organization with a giant space laser.
Of course, you'd assume that, yes. But the fact that he's fighting directly against Superman, you have to think... in his mind, something's going on. Like, why is Superman here? He's got Question. They've been torturing the shit out of Question. What am I doing here? And he still presses against him because he's following his stupid, prideful code. It's not the fact that, you know, they're fighting against the Justice League because the Justice League may be in the wrong. Very clearly, Superman is Superman is trying for he's the fucking teenager of the group. He's the one that's all about right and wrong. He's the one that's all about being morally obligated
to help everyone. He might be all about right and wrong, but I don't think he's right in this situation.
I still don't believe that what happened with fucking Captain Atom was any kind of like sensible thing to do. As soon as he saw Superman and as soon as he saw the Question, he should have immediately realized like something's fucking going on, but he's not because he slipped immediately into the whole military style. He slipped into that because he's following his prideful code. He can't go back against his word because of his stupid fucking pride. it's not anymore a question of what's right and wrong. It's a question of his own fucking pride. I don't believe that, he understands what's good and what's not that the government's doing. I don't think he gives a shit about that. I think he gives a shit about the fact that he was in the government at one point in time, and now he's going back into it because that's what he knew.
Doing his duty, you say like a bad thing.
I
Doing
do.
his duty is a noble and beautiful thing.
Not when it's going against everything that is technically right. Just because
It is not going against everything that is technically
they're
right.
torturing the question. They are torturing the fucking question, and that is exactly what you were
The
talking
Justice
about.
League is an unaccountable paramilitary organization.
That doesn't mean that they're in the right. Just because they're in the wrong doesn't mean you're in the right.
Opposing a wrong has a rightness to it.
No, it
I'm not
doesn't.
saying Cadmus is the
No,
good
it
guy.
doesn't.
I'm just
because
saying
Nazis
they
are
oppose
fighting
a real
Stalin.
wrong.
Just because Hitler's fighting Stalin, it doesn't mean I think Hitler's a good guy.
No, but it does mean...
It does mean maybe better,
No,
but...
no, I think you can flip that around. Like how in World War II we supported Stalin because Hitler was worse.
Because Hitler was worse, but we should never have supported him to begin with. But that's
No, we should have supported Stalin.
We shouldn't
did
have
the right
supported
thing in
either of them.
allying with
It
Stalin.
doesn't matter. It doesn't
did the
matter.
right thing in
It doesn't
allying with
matter.
Stalin.
You call duty as if it's inherently right, but you can call
Doing
anything
your
your
duty
duty.
is inherently
No,
right.
it is not. Because you can call what he's doing right in here is his duty. He is fighting against a man who is trying to help his friend who is being tortured. He's trying to help his friend who's being tortured to death. Because one of his government fucking lackeys is currently trying for a bit of power to control the world and overthrow everything. Lex Luthor.
Okay.
That's the government lackeys.
Maybe he doesn't know the whole story.
Maybe he doesn't know the whole story,
Wait,
but he
here's the thing.
still sees Superman and the Question coming out of this facility. Shouldn't he ask questions? He doesn't, because
He
he's
doesn't
not
have
thinking
time.
for him. He doesn't have time. He has all the fucking time in the world. He flies up to him, but no, he has to sit in this one little bit of goddamn government duty. He has to follow it to the T because he has no basic thought for himself. He has to follow that
He has
stupid
plenty of
code.
thought. He's repeatedly
But he
shown to have
doesn't.
thought.
He doesn't anymore because he's following the fucking government. He doesn't stop to ask questions. He says, I have to fight you because that's what they're telling me to do. That is exactly
Following
what's happening.
orders is a part of joining the military.
Yes, but he
It's
doesn't.
how
He no longer
armed
has.
forces work.
He no longer
how
has his
they're
own
accountable.
idea now. He's following orders. He doesn't stop.
There's nothing wrong with
Yes,
following
there
orders.
is. Oh my God! Shut the fuck up. You have no idea what I'm talking about anymore. He couldn't stop to think about what was going on. He couldn't stop to ask a question. All he did, he is a robot. He is following orders. Just because the question came out and he was tortured, Superman's here. Superman is the poster boy for right and wrong. I'm still not going to ask about the situation. I'm just going to do.
I'm not sure Superman is such a-
Doesn't matter. I'm just going to do what I'm told. That's what's happening right here. He's not trying to engage. He's not trying to find out what's going on. He's solely doing what he's told. And it doesn't matter whether that's a good or a bad thing. He has become a robot. And
He has not become a robot.
He is
That's
such a
disrespectful to all the people in our armed forces.
I'm not saying that! I'm saying Captain Atom, you piece of shit! I'm not going into a big debate about fucking military. I'm going into the debate of what Captain Atom is doing. I'm not saying that people that serve are assholes. I'm saying Captain Atom is being a dick. Is that what you thought I was doing the entire time? Thought I was going against the
No,
military?
that is what you're saying.
No! Captain Atom doesn't
saying
define the
anyone who
military.
follows orders.
No, I'm not! Oh my God, you're driving me nuts. I'm
So
saying
because he's got superpowers, he doesn't have to follow orders?
people in the military people in the military, whether they want to or not, can ask questions and go into the military based on what they want. They can go into the military because they believe they're doing the right thing. All right? They ask questions beforehand. They believe they're in the right. They believe the military's in the right, and then go into the military. There are others that do it for other reasons, but I understand. There are people that think and have very sufficient thought. But right now, what is going on with Captain Atom is he is only following orders, not because of an inherent right or wrong, but because it is written into his mind that he has he has to follow orders. He has to follow the government. He cannot question what is going on. He doesn't stop to think about why Superman's here. Why is the question looking like that? He is simply being directed.
Look, there are people in the military's job who it is to ask those questions. He is following orders, and that is what he is supposed to do.
But
he's
not. He's not.
Trust is a virtue. He has trust in the people above him.
But he had trust in the Justice League. He was with the Justice League. But then why doesn't he ask the Justice League any questions? Why, if he has trust in the Justice League, as you have just said, why doesn't he talk to the Justice League? Why doesn't he talk to Superman, who is coming out of here, who is the leader of the Justice League? Because Superman is clearly doing something very important with the government that he's doing. Maybe he wants to figure out what's going on. But no, he doesn't. He doesn't, just because someone else he has trust for someone else, that doesn't mean he should immediately stop having trust for another friend of his. That is... He's being written. He is clearly immediately being controlled.
He's not being controlled. He's acting of his own free will.
He's acting of his own free will to be controlled.
He is being controlled. They don't have like an RC controller.
Oh no.
And
you can act.
Trusting
Hold on.
his superiors.
Oh no.
That's not a bad thing. That's how militaries work.
What is it? Oh my God. To be a puppet is to allow yourself to let go of all responsibility and any whiplash back to yourself. He is willingly giving himself to the government for them to use him as a tool, for them to say, go do this, go do that. Currently, right now, he is being told what to do and following orders because he trusts them and is not, therefore, going to go against their decision. He does not question anything that happens after that. He very clearly... Are you doing the thing with the neck? Yeah. No, it's true. It's legitimate. Don't ask me where I figured it out, but...
I wasn't going to.
But very much so, we can see he's not questioning authority.
Nice title drop.
Yeah, no, that's the whole thing. It's the question is trying to delve into the deeper parts of the government and the lies and corruption that they're holding.
Whistleblowers play a very important role.
Oh my God.
I'm not saying that there aren't acceptable times. I'm
Holy
just saying
shit,
that
Jordan.
there is a righteousness to Cadmus, and that him following the orders of Cadmus
I understand.
is legitimate.
I understand that. Very much so. It's a very scary ideology to have a giant super weapon with every single god in the known universe conjoining together up there above us. They can do whatever they want with us. That's true. But what he is doing at this very moment right now is not thinking for himself.
That's okay.
I don't believe that's okay. I don't believe that's okay in the slightest.
In the end, you have to trust people.
I know you have to trust people,
but you have to believe in something bigger than yourself.
The biggest part...
And he has believed in the government, and that is a good thing, because the government, the U.S. government, for all its faults, is in the end accountable to the people it controls.
The biggest part of trust, though, is the understanding that the people that you love can get things wrong. That you can question everything they do. You need to put the people that you know in line.
But at the same time, you have to have trust in them.
You have to have trust in them.
You can't question everything they do.
You can't.
Or nothing would ever get done.
Okay. There's a difference between questioning everything they do because just for the sole reason to do so, and questioning something when you realize that it's wrong, when you think that it's wrong and you want to understand what's going on, to find out why. He doesn't, if he said, if he went to his boss after Superman came in, if they had a scene where they were watching Question and Superman together, and I like how I'm taking out the Huntress in this equation because the Huntress is a renegade and she was about to kill people. If they have a scene where he's watching them from a camera and it's like, what are they doing here? And he goes to his boss and says, I don't know about this anymore because of the fact that they're my friends. And if the boss said, just trust me on this. If he said that, I would be perfectly fine. I would be so goddamn fine.
I'm going to be frank.
What?
They definitely should have written that scene.
Yeah, no, it would have been fantastic.
That scene would have made the episode 20 times better.
It would have been fantastic.
That said, I think I can headcanon that scene in, or something like that. I think there is an assumption of a scene like that when we cut away from General Wade's and his conversation.
General
There
J.K.
is
Simmons.
a scene like that. That they're like, we're going to have to do some disgusting things because
Right.
we're facing such a threat.
Right.
And
Right.
a lot of people respond to that. That is not an argument I believe in. But that is an argument
Holy
that
shit!
people
How
regularly
long
use.
has this thing been going on for? Oh, it's actually not that bad.
I think this might be our longest podcast
Oh
ever.
yeah, but not that much actually.
But I think that's because we had an interesting philosophical argument for the past
Definitely.
20 minutes or so,
Yeah.
and that was worth doing.
I would engage again in that.
Yes,
I definitely
we
think about it a little
might
bit
do it
earlier.
next episode. We'll have to see what the big question is.
Oh right, yeah, definitely.
In Flashpoint. So
All right.
we set up for the big Superman versus Captain Atom fight,
It wasn't very big because
which is going to be a next episode.
Yes.
And we're not going to actually rank this episode because
It is a two-parter, and we feel as if it wouldn't be very fair to say in itself the fact that we're judging an unopened, an unanswered movie. What the hell am I talking about? An unanswered
Unanswered question.
storyline, an unended storyline, and an unanswered question.
Yep.
We are grouping them together to see how they do as well, putting themselves in a plot, plot-wise over the entire arching series. But just like out of curiosity, how would you say this episode fared in general?
It's
Like-
going to rank high.
Yeah.
This two-parter is going to rank very high.
Yeah.
I don't want to put a number on it because I'm not looking at my list, but
Mm-hmm.
this is going to be, I would say, probably tier 2.
I
Middle
really,
to
yeah.
top of tier 2.
The animation was great. The choreography was great. The voice acting was great. The plot, the character development, everything was great. I feel like if this was an episode in itself, and if we were to judge that, I'd say it would be very high.
Yeah.
They did a lot of really that
That
very good,
superhero fight is going to bring it up some cool.
Oh yeah,
That's
definitely.
just, it's always cool when the heroes fight.
Yeah. When Question threw a fucking computer at a guy and he's dead now.
He's not dead.
He's totally dead.
People in the DC universe are more durable. So, continuing on. Any last words?
Ham boning will save your life one day.
And stay beautiful, folks.